Chat.
Sorry, it's been a crazy morning.
Philip, you want to start?
Mickey, just talk about the challenge of people who haven't been through it before, understanding how different it's going to be this weekend when SEC play starts.
Oh, that's the great thing about it. They're such a young group. They don't have any thoughts about it. It's play the game. And, I think playing the tournament down in Clearwater, they don't know who the heck they're playing. They don't think about it. So, yeah, I mean, that's a positive, I think. You're not really worried about who you're playing. We're playing the game, and there's another team in the dugout.
How different is it from your standpoint? What's different about preparing for this game and another game?
The time in between, I think, and really, it's all the hoopla that goes along with it. How are the young kids going to handle the hoopla? Because
Right.
It goes from 0 to 80 just because of the attention from whoever, the media, the fans, the administration. All of a sudden, here's all these new faces that are starting to show up that haven't been around, and that will be new for them.
Mark?
Yeah, Mickey, could you talk about Maddie, and are you seeing progress from her freshman year to her sophomore season?
Are you?
Yes.
Okay, so am I. She's learning how to pitch. She's always been a hard thrower, and now she's learning how to pitch, and she's excited about that. She has more weapons in her arsenal, and that anytime a player is excited about what they're doing, and they have a new toy, that excitement carries over into the game. They like that new toy, and she's got a couple of different pitches in her arsenal that are working for her, and the strategy doesn't change for her. It's just now you've seen an increase in the number of strikeouts simply because she has more in her arsenal.
When you were first recruiting her and first noticed her, what stood out to you about her and her potential?
Just her form. That's what I look at. You take a look at a kid's mechanics, and it tells you whether they're going to be able to learn pitches. If they have poor mechanics, they're going to have limitations. She grew up on a fastball. Mechanics were, perfect, basically, because all she's done is thrown fastballs and change-ups, and mostly fastballs. It kind of reminded me of Megan Good, just that perfect form. Megan in her first year, we taught her a rise ball. In her second year, we worked on the change-up, and then eventually we got to the drop ball, and now she has that full arsenal, and that's what I saw. And not to put any expectations on Maddie, but that's what I saw.
Thanks.
Mickey, just talk about her being named National Pitcher of the Week.
Oh, she was named national.
Yeah, just got the graphic.
That's awesome. It's well deserved. I mean, I was trying to think of how many pitchers I've ever had go 6-0 in a week. I don't ever recall that in 20 some odd years. I don't recall a pitcher going 6-0 in a 5-day span.
Right.
It's pretty incredible. So I'd say it's well deserved and well earned.
Anything else, Coach?
Yeah, Coach, what have you learned about your team you didn't know before the season that you've learned here during this stretch here?
Well, there's a lot of things you don't know about going into the stretch, and that's, what's the chemistry really going to be like when we get to games? The fall is pretty easy because all you're doing is working on team chemistry, and the kumbaya stuff, and that's all great. But when you get to games and all of a sudden you have to make that starting lineup and people have to start becoming role players, and how is that going to come together? And I appreciate the way that they've handled it. You take a look at a Paige Garrity, you can only put 3 outfielders out there. And, as a coach, you have to make a decision, and you sit and you talk about it and you look at it. And then, we wanted to give Michaela a break. We knew Paige, we didn't think we would miss a step. And guess what? We didn't. She batted, I think, 700 for the weekend. So that's the hard part. That it really is. Because when you can go too deep, because how many times in your career coaching softball do you really feel like you can go too deep in every position and not lose a whole lot? And we're at that point. So now you've got to try and find these kids some at bats and so forth, and keep them engaged. That's the hard part right now.
With Maddie and your staff, do you feel with Maddie in particular, is she ahead of schedule where you thought she would be? I mean, she's faced incredible competition here in her brief young career so far. You mentioned Megan Good, you've compared her. Is she ahead of where Megan was at this point in her career because of the how do you compare where she's at right now?
I'm not going to do that comparison. I will tell you that, for Maddie, it's when the pitch started working. There's a couple of pitches when they started working, her confidence grew exponentially. I mean, it just, and even the pitches that she'd been throwing before that she's had in her arsenal the whole time are better because she's able to locate them better. And so everything just gets, grander and grander. For Maddie, and all of our pitchers, the key is going to be getting ahead and then making them hit your movement pitches. And Maddie has done a great job of that. She's worked ahead, and now the hitters are really guessing. They really have to guess. And it's difficult to guess against a pitcher who throws between 72 and 46 miles per hour. That's mighty difficult to do. But you also see how easy it is if a pitcher gets behind, walks a lead off, whatever. So it's just staying the course. I'd say Maddie's right on par.
Last question from Jeff Shearer.
Mickey, your pitching and your power hitting have gotten a lot of attention, and deservedly so. How has the defense been up to this point heading into conference play?
It's been steady. We've seen improvement in some areas. There's areas we still want to improve on. There's two things I tell our defense is when a pitcher's striking out a lot of batters, you can't get flat-footed on defense, and all of a sudden you get called. And also, if a pitcher's throwing a lot of balls, we try to tell our pitchers to work ahead so we don't put our defense to sleep. But then again, when your pitcher's striking out a lot of people, that tends to be, we'll make a mistake on defense because we're called flat-footed. So those are things we'll continue to work on, and we'll definitely improve on.
Thank you.
Mickey,